Hello everybody, my name is Trailmaker.
And I'm Rangru.
And this is the 3v3 tournament of Glorious Design.
And today we are on the map Vastabutin. On the NATO side we have Day with 2 FACT for Airborne, Creeper, and Topspin2005.
And for our PACT players we have the Steel Balalaikas, which are composed of Serega, KnesNasis, and Valentine.
Yep, so we, as I mentioned before, we are on the map Vastabutin. Very small, yet very big at the same time. As you have an awful lot of dead space around the flank, so the main area of the map is pretty small.
And it's got, like, the extended areas have some cool things. Like there's these towns all over the place that you can place anti-air units or recon, and you can kind of creep across there with units and just slowly make your way into the Charlie area if you're attacking from PACT, and the India area if you're attacking from NATO.
Yeah, very favourable map. We're doing a very long flanking helicopter sneaky peeky business.
But there's not a lot of stuff on this map. That's the big thing. It's all 2 and 1 point bases. The middle base is 1 point base. And I've only played this map once myself, and it ended up being a rush.
Yeah, I played this map a few times. It usually turns into ATGM hell because there's a lot of open ground, and because there's a lot of open ground, you can just place ATGM infantry in all little towns and forests, making it very hard to move up with usually normal assaults, unless you use smoke and artillery and bombing runs to try and knock out those nasty ATGMs.
But yes, I am also very bad at this game, and these guys are quite good, so yeah, it'd be very different on how they play this. I mean, there's 2 reinforcement points, and they kind of lead right into the action, but I think the Echo one is just a little bit better, because it's closer to Delta, which means it's at a... sorry, the other way around. Bravo is closer to Hotel, so it's just a little bit easier to hold. Ever so slightly, and whether that'll make a big difference or not, that's hard to say. And it's a small trade-off. When you look at Delta and Hotel, they have bushes there, which means you can place AT there, which means you can defend or push there. And when you look at Hotel and Bravo, they have a ridge there, which means that it's incrossable.
High ground.
But it also means that infantry can kind of sneak in there with into Hotel. So there's trade-offs.
Trade-offs. Pros and cons. Oh wow, that's a really fast match deployment. Yeah, it was brilliant. Thank you for being fast. And off the bat, we have 2 FACT for Airborne and Days for all of that with Starfighters, Phantoms, and F-15s, and Mixed BAMs.
Oh dear God, this might be very, very bad for Day. Their Phantoms coming forward. You should never, ever, ever, ever leave with a bomber, because he just dies.
Damn, that Phantom can even drop off its payload. F-15, gonna get wrecked. Yep.
Are forced to retreat, and I don't think there's a lot of ground AA here for Day, so they could be in a ton of trouble right now.
That was... Damn. Those F-15s, man. Just annihilated by the MiGs.
Luckily, the napalm knocked me super effective. Day is gone with a lot of helos, but they're all still going to be very vulnerable to these jets.
Yeah, and it does seem like Steel Balalaikas is going to get into the Bravo, the Foxtrot Gulf town before they can do that. Bunch of VDVs unloading. Those Mi-24s are still active and going to be very good at support and fire the VDVs.
Absolutely, and there's 2 infantry anti-air units that could come in here and try and level this playing field. Yeah,
also Belka moving up into Echo quite aggressively with some Spetsnaz and Mi-24s. God, they're just going all in.
Oh, these guys are very, very potent PACT players. At the very beginning of this tournament, they were playing around with the metagame, but now that the PACT meta is kind of figured out, they're just going full on with what they know.
Oh, they doing some very sneaky stuff in Juliet, moving all their Dawn Airs into that little lumber mill area. Oh, wow. That is just... This map's very big. It really allows these open flank pushes to just happen.
Yeah, some people call it cheesy, but we call them open map pushes.
Open map pushes. It's a lot more catchy.
I have to sell that to the viewers. Yes, pro open map push, gentlemen. Of course, here coming towards the middle. everything's pretty spread out. The VDVs are in small packs. They might be able to get a Conquerors, though.
Yeah. And it does seem like Serega is going to have complete control over the town in middle, which is pretty big, because they can kind of deny any CV into Gulf if they want to.
And they can get their own in Foxtrot, so it gives them a slight advantage. So far, though, Day has captured more bases. There's still one 2-point base, which is Valentine is going for right now, and Steel Balalaikas should in the end have a slightly bigger advantage.
Yeah, and they get a lot of napalm bombers now to try and bomb that middle town. You know, one of them did get shot down. Might be pretty pretty risky to try and bomb that middle town.
And they should have a pretty serious advantage later on in terms of air units because Steel Balalaikas, of course, is doing what we call the standard Category C pre-1975 MiG spam. And Day has been going for these higher quality NATO bombers and air superiority fighters and have some amount of anti-air and all this sort of stuff. So eventually it should all catch up to Steel Balalaikas.
Yep.
Who have now revealed their Spetsnaz to the south and will lose them to a single Lob 25. Bushmaster. Yes, Creeper used these 3 little vehicles completely empty to just kind of throw away some ammunition from the Spetsnaz, but I guess he scared the bejesus out of them and forced them out. So it looks like things are ironically slowing down.
Both sides just figuring out the points they have and just holding on to what they got. Yeah, still Balalaikas definitely being a lead, like you said, because they do have the middle. So they may have to be pretty offensive. It's
a very, very hard map to play because when you lose that opening rush, it takes a long time to come back. And, I mean, you don't want to push too hard because if they just, especially against PACT, if a PACT player levels an entire area full of AT, there's just no way to move.
Do a little bit of an assault, or just a little bit of probing from bottom with Valentine, a bunch of T-34s, Urals and BTRs. Probably try to see how far they can get into Echo.
And it's not a big investment, it's like 3 10-point vehicles and then some empty vehicles.
Yeah, those Mountaineers want to get in range and shoot them out with the Dragon 2 launchers.
And this is not expected to do too much. It's a really low-risk investment. If these tanks would have come out, 30 seconds later, they would have picked off that command and it would have been all worthwhile. But now they're going to get nothing, but it'll still mostly be worthwhile.
Yeah. Information is always very good to know.
They'll know not to come to this area.
Always.
The wrong Walmart, sir. And I think from Day, what we'll probably see is they'll try and pick the enemy apart in the air. Hopefully that works out for them, because that's kind of their only card right now.
Or maybe they can try moving up another flank, like into Juliet or Bravo.
Or maybe from Echo to Gulf would be another avenue. Because right now, I mean, Steel Balalaikas are doing basically what every player would fear, and that is they are going for a high amount of AA and AT, which means that it'll be very, very hard to push in.
Yeah, they have a lot of concourse all spread around the map. Just going to try and shut down anything that they do move around. F-15 coming in from the bottom, going to try and unset the MiGs. MiGs going in, yo. Oh, he gets the F-15 completely. Damn. Those MiGs are very high veterancy compared to the F-15s.
Oh, yes, and that means they're getting more accuracy, better stabilizers. Do they have stabilizers?
All planes are very good stabilizers, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think it's just really more accuracy, to be honest. I'm not entirely sure, so don't quote me. But I think it's really just more accuracy. It's what affects the veteran planes.
There's like probably 3 people in the entire community who do all of the theory crafting for the game. Because none of the values in the game are real values, of course.
Yeah, it's all just kind of thrown around mumbo-jumbo rubbish.
and he's kind of figured out like he has like graphs and formulas and curves and stuff, and planes is one that's almost impossible to do just because of how fast they are. He's figured out all the slow paced things like AT, AA, and infantry, but he just has not had a chance at these
figure
planes.
out
It's just too hard.
Planes. With one little BTR-60 moving up into Delta, he might get that CV. He might. Oh, it's own itself. Can I do it? Oh no, the Pandemortar Super MG3 stunning the BTR. And the coloring, that's just called a coloring. Finish it off with an M72 shot.
I take it Comcast is being an evil devil right now because unfortunately on my end you're coming kind of garbled and...
Oh, that might just be me. But let's hopefully it fixes up.
Yes, this must have been what you were talking about. Sorry, I couldn't make out a single bit of that, and I guess you're talking about this Delta base here. Where a command has moved and is back in play. And, yeah, looks like things will once again normalize. I mean, they've set up flanks. The south, you can kind of see, and the north have spotters, so there's not going to be any surprises on this map for these players.
None surprises whatsoever.
And they have because it's a small map, and this is true of every small map. Small maps benefit very heavily from static AA. They have they can hit more flanks with less units. Yeah,
like because Ihawks will have very good range on this map because it's a little bit more smaller in the center. They're around big flanks, they won't be able to hit anything at all. Is it still garbly?
No, it's all cleared up. Good
stuff.
Yeah, and there's actually a Chieftain Mark II up north that's trying to make a push, and there's tons of AT coming his way. And of course, these are, they're a pretty cost-effective tank. They're British, so they're heavily armored. They're not too high a points investment, and
they're slow as hell.
Yeah, but they've been very successful at pushing so far. They've knocked out a single Conquerors. Might be able to get this jungle area, depending on how these Conquerors and these special ones. The special ones perform.
I'll check translations.
Yes, a lot of those languages are very interesting because they're politically designed languages. They were most of them were destroyed by Nazis and later on by Tito, and so they had to redesign their language to be distinct from something else, so that they can maintain their national identity. And so there's a big kind of debate, like Croatia and Slovakia, specifically, where they have two languages that are basically the same thing. They just use different alphabets.
Oh, I actually didn't know that, to be honest.
And so there's always this weird thing with the politicians of those countries choosing the wrong words because they're so used to the. But it's a weird system. I can see why Focus Home, they have been recruiting military men from those countries to help them with pronunciations and with spellings because it's just really, really complicated.
Yeah, they're probably going to have fun trying to translate the Chinese units, to be honest.
Oh dear God. Thankfully there's actually a decent number of Chinese members of the community.
Now I'm wondering if they're going to do Mandarin or Cantonese, for the Chinese units. Because you have both of those languages are two very prevalent languages in China.
Yeah, I think Mandarin's 70%?
Yeah, because I think more of the city areas, it's Mandarin, like Hong Kong, all of that. But more of the rural areas, they speak Cantonese, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of propaganda against the Cantonese. Puppy eaters, I hear.
And top left, you have an Mi-24 going around the flank. It did get spotted by airborne. So he might... I think he's going to try and load it in that little patch of forest.
Oh, that'd be super sneaky if he can get away with it.
Yeah, it's going to be a long walk to Charlie.
Yeah, but I mean, it's. No, he's going to continue on. Unfortunate. That would have been actually a pretty brilliant play because he's already been spotted. But if he could put it into a town or something, he could save the infantry.
Yeah. Oh, Rodriguez are going to come in and finish it off. Can they kill it? Oh, we have a second Rodriguez.
Dear God.
The Mi-24 tank of the year. Just not getting affected at all. We're going to need a third Rodriguez to finish this get off. Yo, yeah, it does go down.
And that should be it. None of the infantry did get out, so rather unfortunate. But you know, good on top for spotting. The whole map is just spotters everywhere.
Yep.
Nothing sneaky is allowed to happen on this map.
Nothing sneaky at all.
That's one of the downsides to playing on this kind of map. If you don't rush, everyone's going to expect you're going to do something sneaky, so they're going to deploy a ridiculous number of units to prevent that.
Also, it's pretty easy to kind of stop sneaky stuff in this map, because it's so open-ended and there's a lot of open ground, meaning recon guys will have very good range on absolutely everything.
Absolutely great point.
Absolutely.
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 Fake information here. Too fat for airborne is called an airstrike on a place where there's no units. So, I mean, Dave, very good clam, but...
mistakes always happen.
Yeah, I mean, the patch behind him is probably what he wanted to flag, but didn't for whatever reason.
Do have a bunch of T-64s in Gulf moving up, going to be bombing ATGM and those LAVs. As they do slow but surely move up a BRDM concourse support behind. I think he might be trying to do a little bit of a push into Echo or Delta. And it doesn't seem like Creeper doesn't really have any ATGM infantry or vehicles around, just mainly using normal tanks to try and stop this. He's moving up a bunch of Leopard 2s to try and kill his T-64s.
One down. That's not good.
Yeah, those Leopard 2s don't stand a chance against this big PACT tank force.
Yeah, and like you know, it's 3 Cobra rockets. If just one of those hit, that's half the Leopard 2's HP gone.
The Cobra, really good ATGM.
And looks like infantry are going to try and push in. There's tons of stuff to rebuke this area. Lob 25s, which this is basically what they're for. Bushmaster's so good at destroying the infantry vehicles, and then he has that gun on there to deal with the modal Cherokee, and might be able to make some ground, though. The T-64 is moving up, and if anything kind of pops out, it will probably die instantly.
SU-7 BKL dropping in. Oh, fire burning on the dance floor. Good God. Fire burning on the dance floor. Whoa. Those LAVs really feeling the heat. They're going to be retreating out. Oh, Nighthawk on the T-64. Yo, it doesn't really do anything but shake him up a little bit.
It got a stun. It's out of Cobras, which is kind of good. All the Leopards are gone, of course. It doesn't matter too much. But that was... You know, he can't move anymore because he put fire on the place where you want to move into. But he's destroyed a ton of units. So once this all clears up, he'll be able to move in.
And finish them off.
Yeah, maybe move up his Conquerors to provide even bigger AT network. Because right now he's basically covering in a bowl shape for his AT. And if he can move up that position, it becomes into a line. And a line is much scarier than a bowl.
Yeah, I know. It's all about the shapes, man. Don't get me started on triangles. Ugh.
Oh, God.
Oh, God, the triangles. Killed my family.
Are you from Flatland? Jesus. But seriously, it's a good book. You should read it sometime.
I know what it's about. It's a book about the shapes and stuff.
Alec Baldwin did a movie about it. I shit you not, Alec Baldwin did a movie about Flatland. Animated flick. Didn't go to theaters, went directly to video with Alec Baldwin.
It does seem like that forest with all the LAVs is going to be cleared up by the mods directly as you do move up. You can finish off as LAVs pretty easily with just some RPG fire.
Yeah, and I mean, Steel Balalaikas is winning the day here. They're able to grab that position, and it seems like a minor victory, but it's not. I mean, that's a crossroads that leads into Delta, that leads into Echo, and that leaves both bases highly vulnerable.
Yep.
If they don't rally a lot of units there, they can just get overwhelmed, which makes every other flank weakened. They can also move a command into the Gulf location, which would be massive.
Yeah, give them a +2 advantage.
Because right now, Steel Balalaikas have been kind of tickling them down with that 1-point bleed. But once they get a 2-point bleed, that's twice as fast. And Creeper keeping the Lob 25 in there, which will deal with infantry pretty well, but wants to get rid of that, get that Abrams out of there, because that's actually a pretty expensive tank, and will never trade cost effectively with that one infantry unit.
Oh, Conqueror's gonna get a good side shot on the Abrams.
Oh dear God.
Oh, very good Conqueror placement, yeah.
Absolutely. Gets a big kill, and now they should be getting pretty close to be able to move these Conquerors up.
Damn, the sniping these LAVs as they come out. Good God, that is a really cost-effective Conquerors.
Oh yeah, Dave's going to take some notes here on this match, because this has just been very bad for them.
What really helped Dave a little bit more with it, because on the southern flank they don't have any ATGMs at all, which is really killing them, because they could have stopped a lot of those T-64s and other Concours with just some Milan 2s, or, Milan 2 ATGMs.
It's a little bit hard to defend, though, because there's these very, very close bushes, and then there's this other close bush to it, and there's not a ton of great flanking positions for Day to put ATs in place. Like, there's only a handful of them, and they're not very large windows.
Yeah.
But yeah, Day able to secure that woods again temporarily, able to wipe out all those infantry, and I mean, it's likely that the Steel Balalaikas will keep pushing for that, because if they can grab that, they will have a very secure middle.
Does seem like Steel Balalaikas is going to be moving up a CV into Gulf to try and capture that. Give them a little bit more point lead.
Yeah, it'll double the score, it'll get this going faster. It's mostly a stalemate right now, except for that one little point. I mean, there's little battles. I mean, there's like weird infantry places where there could be a battle happening, but there just doesn't happen to be one at the moment. Conquerors, of course, are splashed all over the map everywhere. So, I mean, Steel Balalaikas have kind of set up in a way that if the NATO players do try to push, they will pay the iron price.
Death. The iron price.
Yeah, but Top's been losing, or not Top, Day, sorry, has been losing like a ridiculous amount of Leopard 2s in this match, and that's been hurting them. They don't have that air presence that they had. They had this ridiculously good air presence, and now it's gone.
I think the MiG's really been a big factor to that. Just those Su-27, MiG-20 runs, MiG-23s just shutting down any planes like F-15s and A-10s that they've been bringing up. But the Nighthawks are still going in quite strong from Creeper, bringing in another run. Where is he going to drop his payload?
Hopefully in that bush area there, because there is actually a tank and a Conqueror, so he can hit pretty well and help defend this location.
I think he's going for T-34s. I don't know, I'm just having a slight hunch. Or maybe he's going around the flank, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah. And that's part of the micro of these big bombers. You want to kind of have them hit at a non-direct angle so that when they, after they do their payload, they'll curve in towards you instead of towards the enemy.
Yep. Oh, Nighthawk dropping its bomb on the UAZ command vehicle on Juliet.
And that's a gonzo.
Yeah, it's a gonzo, and Nighthawk gets out of there.
That changes the tide to the battle quite a bit. +1 still for Steel Balalaikas because they have the 2 middle points, but it will slow things down quite a bit for them. And kind of give Day a little more room to get back into this. I mean, the big thing to note is they don't have any positions yet. That was a pretty darn lucky kill. not lucky, but it was a pretty unimportant kill because it just means that a 100-point command will have to come out and replace it. Obviously, Steel Balalaikas know that there is a ranger here spotting for that command position, and they've already brought in their own helicopter command to try and pick it off and deal with it. So I mean, it's spotted. It shouldn't take too long for them to send in something to kill off these rangers.
Yeah, but the rangers...
Oh my god.
Insta-gibbs the MI-2 recon, but they do know its location. Those rangers might want to get out of dodge before an attack helicopter goes towards it. Never mind, we have a bunch of SU-7BMs going in for a bomb and run. Use an awful lot of payload to kill very few units.
Yeah, desperately wants to get rid of this. Doesn't want anything behind enemy lines. Spotting for this command that's coming in here. And
yeah, the rangers live. The rangers live on.
And one of the things that's really hateful with this conquest mode, because in the old destruction modes, you could tell you killed something by like, oh, did I get points for it?
Yeah.
But in this one, you don't know if you've ever killed the infantry. There's literally no way to find out.
Unless you zoom in really fast to see dead bodies. But infantry bodies despawn in like 10 seconds. So it is basically impossible to see if you killed infantry or not.
Yeah, and hopefully they fix that into a dragon. I would like a UI that shows the number of units you have killed and your conquest points, both.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Because you can see who's actually doing all the killing, most of the hard work, instead of having to rate at the end of the match.
And it also tells you, how many units the enemy has compared to you, and who has units and whatnot. Because obviously, if they have a lot of kills and not a lot of losses, then they have a lot of units.
Yeah, it would sort of remove that mystery aspect that this game has, like as rangers. You don't know if they're alive or not until you actually check. So it sort of removes that aspect, which makes, I don't know, it's a little bit of a con, a little bit of a plus.
Yeah,
if you can see what I'm getting at.
Massive Zippo defense or aggression happening here in the middle of the map, basically, or to the southwest of it. We have a Zippo being just spamming napalm in this location, wiping out this forest area, and a TO-62 actually going to try and counter napalm him. So,
flamethrower wars.
Flamethrower wars. On the dance.
You have to fight fire with fire.
Ooh. God, you're good today.
I know.
You must be in a good mood today. Did you have an apple today? You must have had an apple. God.
No, 2 pairs.
Oh. 2 pairs of what?
You don't want to know.
Well, Panzer Grenadier is going to come in here and try and pick off the T-62. Gets the stun in the second round. Should be the kill.
I'm just noticing that Zippo has an awful lot of napalm ammunition. Like, he's like one Zippo would have over 2,000 rounds of napalm, while one T-62 only has 400.
Yeah, there's no reason to resupply a Zippo ever.
I know.
And that's what they're there for, it's the reason why they cost slightly more than other Zippos.
I'm just imagining, how does it hold like 2,000 rounds of like flamethrower? Like, Zippo is a small tank. It's just like it's like an M20. It's an M41 Bulldog, Walker Bulldog, with a flamethrower instead of a main gun. So how it just stores that much like gasoline? Napalm.
Probably has like a pipeline dedicated. They just plug themselves in the ground and steal the oil themselves.
Most likely.
That's how napalm's made.
There's a little drill underneath the tank that digs in when it stops and brings up napalm.
That's why nobody ever passes the Zippo. They just fall through the center of the earth. But in this counter, been very, very good. Chieftain tanks coming in here for a massive push. Desperately want to get rid of all of these TO-62s, which are basically your high-end napalm ground unit for PACT.
Yeah.
And massive fire. I mean, there's a pretty good split here by Valentine and Serega trying to get their Motos jockeys and spread locations so that they can ambush and so they can avoid as much of the Zippo fire as possible. And unfortunately, Panzer Grenadier is not going to be the optimum unit to kind of push in here against Motos jockeys.
Yeah, there was a bunch of monster strength. Even though you are pretty shaken and panicked, those Panzer Grenadiers are going to just outnumbered, so they're going to get killed.
I mean, this is very much your Russian style play here by 2 Fat 4 Airborne, just burning this entire force down, moving slightly forward. And because once they said they have so much ammunition, you can do this. So you can just keep moving forward, keep spamming that napalm, and burn his way to the enemy.
Yeah, it's just so much. So we do have an MI-28 here from Serega. It's going to stop down these Chieftain Mark IIs. And BMP-3s over ATGMs. Do quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, and that will stall this counter push quite a bit. Steel Balalaikas are back +3, of course, and they've already hit 70% of the points they need. So there's going to have to be some pretty critical moves here done by Day pretty soon. I don't know why I keep forgetting their name. Probably because they haven't played a lot of matches in this tournament. Pretty much every single one of our matches from now on will be Day, so I should probably get their name locked down.
Remember their name, that'd be a good idea. They're moving a bunch of LAVs into the Mott's directly held at ambush point. Oh, they're just going right in. I think you're going to get hurt by their own napalm, to be honest. Slightly
out of it somehow. Just barely. And
just
when you zoom in, you can just kind of see they're on the edge of it. So that's less luck, more skill. The Lob 25s will continue through. And there's a weird thing about how they come out. Sometimes they move to the left, sometimes they move to the right. So, yeah, Lob 25s all getting mowed down here.
This would be a perfect time for Serega to just bomb this area completely.
Oh yeah, like those double napalm things that you can do the whole time. Dear God, they're so good.
Yeah, but it does seem like Creeper's going to take control again of that little forest. MI-28 just knocking out the Avengers before they can even get into range. Good God.
Yeah, this is going to be very much over soon. This push would have been better earlier on, but unfortunately it just came a little bit too late. And they need to push in. They got to continue. They got to knock out the 2 middle point bases, and then they get to continue to a 2-point base. And
all in 10 minutes.
And they need tanks, which they all lost to the MI-28. So I think this is pretty well done. So.
Oh, here comes the SU-7s. Oh my God.
We prayed, here they came. Da 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 da. We'll sync that in editing, don't worry. And every infantry down, the tanks are gone, any hope is gone.
That was just nailed in the coffin, might as well bury the grave.
Not even a metaphorical, it was literal.
And then we have T-64s and 2 T-80Us coming round the flank to finish anything off.
They've cremated the enemy, now they're gonna drive over them.
Crush the asses into the ground. Become run with some hippie rubbish like that.
Yes.
They also moved up into Alpha up north quite a bit, and they did manage to kill the CV and moving very aggressively up here.
Not quite dead, on fire, but not quite dead.
Not quite.
It's moving a bit.
It's alive in mind, but doesn't matter. Game over.
Game over.
And yeah, still Balalaikas bringing in quite a good victory.
Just absolutely devastating. Number of kills here, 2,000 point difference here for Steel Balalaikas. Just absolutely showing these guys how they play.
Yeah, their Ross early on really sealed them a deal because owning out a town allowed them to just attack into all the other areas, and they're very aggressive with their ATGM infantry, just shooting at any NATO vehicle that moves, even with the MiGs as well, shooting down all of Day's airplanes.
Well, yeah, that was a stomper by the Steel Balalaikas.
Yep.
That's all the time we have. So, I'm Trollmaker.
I'm Rangaroo. Take it easy.